We're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, everybody is here. Additions to the agenda, I think Matt.
There is one addition to the agenda was sent out earlier. We need to, on the reorganization activities on item 5, where we signify banks for deposits, we need to add PMA securities on there. That is where the primary amount of our cash goes, and then we disperse it from there as we need. So I'd like you to add that, or approve the agenda with that addition, please.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, so I got a motion from Lou and a second from Rick. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Yeah, Bruce. Did I say Bruce or did I say? Did I say Lou?
We
I'm
both
sorry.
got gray hair.
Oh,
Well, we're all
I
getting
looked
gray
at him.
hair.
You got Bruce? Yeah, it was Bruce. I don't know, I was looking at you too, because I usually look at who calls motion.
I've been called different things.
Sorry,
In other
Lou.
words, he didn't like to be called that.
No, that's fine. Bring my day up.
There you go. Okay. Approve the agenda. Or, we had additions, we approved the agenda. We're going to go and move on to District 741 is proud of. There's nothing underneath that. Public comment. Anybody here for public comment?
I have no requests either.
Okay, no requests, nobody here. So, consent agenda, I just want you guys to be more observant of that this time, as Matt has laid out the consent agenda a little bit different than what we're kind of used to. There's other things that are going to be now you're going to see in the consent agenda, like for an example, the treasurer's reports, the bills and donations and stuff like that. So if at any point in time, even like for the financials and stuff like that, I'll call upon different people, and then we will just make one motion for the entire thing unless if we need to pull something off. So the consent agenda consists of the minutes, the financial situations or issues, treasurer's reports, the bills, donations, personnel items, Brenda Meyer resignation effective July 9th of 2018. And then we have the fall coaches, which would be the football and, let me see if I get it to that area.
Cross-country football and volleyball.
Yeah, cross-country football and volleyball. Some of the coaches, head coach for the cross-country is Christine Weifel, and then the assistant is Jeff Swatsky. Football, we got Max Maher, head coach. Assistants is Chad Campbell and Ron Fuchs, and Todd Spanier. Ninth grade coach is Ben Borgerdine, something like that, and Brad Skuglin, and Tracy Piepenberg, and Phil Carlson. And then we have, I missed the, head volleyball coach is Nicole Humbert, assistant is Jen Welly, ninth grade coach is Heather Schrader, junior high is Jackie Spanier, and then Bill Hesse. And then for cross country is, I said that already, right?
Yep.
So those are your coaches, and that's a consent agenda. Cheryl, you want to talk a little bit about the bills?
Everything was pretty much business as usual. The construction is going on for the high school office. I did notice some things coming in on that, and our new phone system is being put in. Otherwise, it's pretty much, everything has been approved and is going through, getting ready for fall already, getting ready for September.
Good. Treasury report. Matt, do you have anything that you had seen out of there for your first glance at it?
I have nothing in addition to what Cheryl has.
Okay. And just want to add a comment for that is that the superintendent also recommends approval of this consent agenda. So
moved.
I got a motion from Lou.
Second.
Second from Randy. Any other further discussions?
I got some discussion.
Yeah.
So we have just decided on a bunch of coaches, and there's no reference for the public to see who they are. Most of the public is just seeing this. So why don't we implement where at least that information is in there? Right? So we went from a time where every time we hired coaches, that they were all listed. Now we have it down on the bottom of the sheet, what we did, but it doesn't even reference that it's coming off another sheet. So other than your verbal, nobody reading the agenda knows what we did.
And we can certainly add whatever detail you want to that consent agenda.
Well, we have worked really hard to make sure that we are totally straightforward with everybody. It tends to make it look like it's hidden. I wasn't sure how this is all going to play out, or I'd asked you questions earlier.
Yep. And I think the goal with this is actually to have this agenda be a live, active page. I thought we would take this in steps rather than go from what you were working off of, which was basically a stagnant PDF. I would like it actually to be a live website where, yes, anybody can go prior to the meeting. I mean, virtually 98% of what the board works with is all public information. There's very little that is not. And I would like it to go to a point where if you want to see who that coach is, there would be a live link that you would just click on it and that spreadsheet would come up for you.
So, but it should have like addendum A or addendum B or some identification of where that whole list is at.
Well, that's all gonna, if you scroll down, Bruce,
Yep.
and I'm not sure if you're looking at the PDF that Linda sent out.
Yep, I am.
Okay. If you scroll down and look at, for instance, the new business item D, when we get down to talk about the CEO programming, it's an informational piece today. That is a hyperlink that eventually I would like you guys just working off of a school board website that you guys would come to and you would hit that hyperlink and you'd be able to watch that prior to the meeting if you wanted to. Anybody in the public would be able to go to that website and they would be able to click on any one of these agenda items and see all the information that the board has. I guess what I was a little concerned about is going from what you have been doing previously to that model, I think is a large step. And I was concerned that that would cause a lot of stress. And so what I'm trying to do is kind of go in the intermediary, and then from there we will go to that final process where it's a live website that the board can work off of, the public can go to, and there's very little information that, whether it be a data privacy issue or something that we have to withhold from that, we will obviously, but that is really just a fraction of the information that
No,
you
but I'm
have.
fine with that. But, so I'm scrolling through 26 pages of stuff to find that list, okay? It doesn't say, I always thought our agenda was kind of our overview, but it was, for most people looking at it, it was kind of their table of contents, right? If
And
it
it
said the
would-
fall
and-
coaching positions and it was addendum A or somewhere, I have no
Right.
issue with the
And we
changing
could-
around of things. It's just, I want to make sure that we have 50-some% of our population isn't young, okay? That's like all small communities. They don't maybe have total access to this kind of stuff. Maybe not interested, but we have some that do. And just so they have access.
Sure, absolutely.
But if it just said addendum A and somebody had a question and this is all they saw, well, they can find addendum A from somebody that says what it was. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, I think,
Absolutely, it makes sense, and I guess I guess my only piece for you, Bruce, is I don't think that the overarching concern needs to be transparency. I think what you're going to find out is when this is complete, it's probably going to be more transparent than it was in the past.
Okay,
My
I'm fine
intention
with
is
that.
not in any way to put up some sort of a wall
No,
or
I
something
wasn't
that
worried about
prohibits
intentions or stuff, but I just want to make sure.
Sure.
This whole board has worked a long time to make sure we are very, very straightforward. And I don't want it to seem like we didn't want it.
Absolutely.
but I think that goes, I mean, on spin off of that, I mean, you're just talking about coaches, which it seems like it's kind of a hot item, but, for a lot of people, they're looking at the finances, and we don't have anything really for there too. So, I think
But
at the end of the day.
That's true.
We need to, be aware of, where can we find this for anybody looking and searching in that search engine to figure out,
Yep.
who is being, awarded for coaches, or what is the financial stability of the district, Every month we have bills and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, I mean, as long as we have that in mind going forward, I think is great, and I think Matt has.
So what
that
you're
insight.
talking about is one day we will highlight treasurer's report, click on it, and the reports will just open up for us?
Yes.
Okay, I got
That,
you.
that is actually, and I can assure
That
you.
takes care of everything.
I spent several hours contemplating what is the best way to do this. Is the best way just to dive in and make the switch and deal with the bumps and bruises of diving in and the growing pains? Or is the best way to do this kind of in stages and become comfortable with one stage and then move to the next? It sounds like we just need to dive in. And so that certainly can happen. It's actually probably easier to go that way, so, you bet.
Is the entire agenda on the website? I guess I haven't gone through it for a long time.
My belief is that yes.
Typically, the agenda and addendum have been posted to the website,
But
and
not,
that is what's out
but
there
not
now.
not the extra pages. Okay.
No, but then all of the information, Cheryl, ends up in the minutes. So in the past, all of the coaches' names.
It would
You
be in
put
the
it there.
minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, so it would still be
Financials will be
accessible.
there. Mm.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Right.
Okay. I just had a question too from Max. These, none of these were new hires, correct?
No, that's not correct. Our ninth grade volleyball coach was a new hire.
Oh, okay. So Heather Schroeder.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
It's nice just to see that filled.
Yes. Nice to have someone there.
Yep. Okay, so,
Other questions?
any questions, any other questions? I think we're going to be seeing a lot of nice things as we move forward with.
Well, yeah, if I'd have hit this and it was blue and I clicked on, I run into that all the time nowadays.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure, our whole thing is to make sure the public knows exactly what we're doing all the time.
Yep.
Yep. All right, communications. Superintendent.
So, I
Oh.
don't think you ever passed, made a motion. You made a motion to have.
We have a motion and a second.
Oh, okay. All right, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Communication items. Superintendent.
All right, well, first of all, I just want to extend a thank you. I've not been here very long, but everybody that I have had the opportunity to interact with has been very helpful and very gracious. And it seems like I'm asking a lot of questions and having just some good dialogue and good conversation about those. So I know at times my questions probably get, a little, really, are we going to continue to talk about this topic? But I do appreciate all the help that has been provided. It has been absolutely wonderful. I do have 4 items I just want to bring to the attention of the board. The first one, I want to talk a little bit about the CTE work group. Bruce and Randy have both been participating in this, so you guys can certainly jump in and add into any of this. But that work group did recently meet, and the group had made a decision to recommend purchasing some equipment for our automotive repair program at the high school. I think there were 6 pieces of equipment total running in the ballpark. We had quotes for somewhere around just over $17,000. That group was supportive of that, and I have good news. I actually heard last night that the foundation did meet and approve that. And so that is something that we will get moving on. I think there's some final things that need to take place, and hopefully we can find a little better pricing than what we provided in quotes, but that is something that is on the move. The other program that immediately, at least, we're working on in there is a CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant program. And it's only kind of linked to that group in that obviously it is a career and tech piece of programming. CentraCare in town will be a partner with us. We would also be working with Eden Valley Watkins School and ACGC schools. And the 3 schools are in the process of preparing a LIFT grant that hopefully we will be able to secure some funding to be able to partner with CentraCare and offer a CNA program or CNA certification program here at Paynesville High School. And then the other schools would also have some access to it as well. The CTE work group offered or issued a letter of support for that, and so that will go in with the grant. Center Care has also submitted a letter of support, and the Paynesville Area Community Foundation. All three of those have signed off and issued their letters of support. So right now, as far as the CNA programming is concerned, there really isn't any direct financial assistance from this group yet, but certainly we will see what happens with that. I don't know, Bruce or Randy, anything you want to add with the CTE work group?
No, I thought you did pretty good. Yeah, you kind of summed it all up. It's exciting, that's all I can tell you.
It is exciting.
It's
and-
hard to get something rolling.
Right, and we're in the infancy stages, and so it's a place to start. I think makes sense where we're starting, but this truly is just the beginning, and I'm really excited to see where we can go with that. I did just want to let the board know the transportation contract is still a work in progress. We're going to actually talk a little bit about that later in the agenda. The meeting that is in the agenda, we have that date won't work anymore, so we'll deal with that when we get there. But I do want to assure the board there's really no concern, at least on my behalf, that this transportation contract is not going to be complete. I think the next time we meet will just be a formality, and that's actually the conversation is going very well, and I think everyone is on the same page. Policy review cycle. I guess I just wanted to know if the board had a formal review cycle. I have not found one. I would certainly, I'm kind of a deadline person, and so it helps me to organize my life if I know when things are coming due to the board. So if it's okay with the board, I would like to be able to sit down with the admin team and create a review cycle. The goal would be that all policies in the district would be reviewed every third year at a minimum. Obviously, there are some policies that the board has to review annually, and those you would continue to see annually, but it would just be a way for us to formalize that we don't have a policy that gets missed, and all of a sudden, it's 6 or 7 years and it fell through the cracks. So that's something that I will get working on as well, along with the admin team. And then lastly, I just want to remind the board the summer MSBA session is, I believe, August 7th. It's either the 6th or 7th. Rick, you're shaking your head. It is the 7th. Good.
It's a Monday, that's the 7th, right?
I believe, yes, that 6th is the Monday.
Well, then it's Monday.
Yeah. So it's Monday, I believe it's August 6th. And that is something if board members want to go.
Actually, I think it starts the 5th if you want to go down the night before.
There you go.
But
Yep.
6th is the main.
Is the agenda. If you want to attend that, we are going to start something a little different here. I know in the past, the superintendent's guy took care of the reservations and stuff like that. I've talked with Linda, and she's been gracious enough to say, I would not mind if they just email me, I can take care of getting them registered. So if you want to attend, by all means, email Linda. She'll get you registered with MSBA, and I will be going down there as well. So that's coming up here in a few weeks. Those are the 4 items I have. Questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Communication items, these will be just standing communication pieces. Obviously, not everybody's going to report each month, but these will be standing pieces.
Is Donnie, are you gonna come and talk? Or
Why don't you just come fill them in a little bit on where things are at with the building projects?
let's start with community ed, since we're going right in order. Matt Dickhausen, why don't you come down?
So this is gonna be standing, so they're gonna be on there every meeting.
You will see it on the agenda each meeting, and then what I'm hoping is there'll be just a rotation. You'll see everyone once a month is what I'm planning on.
So you're gonna take care of that, so they know when they're supposed to be here?
Yep.
All right, good evening. I'll just give a report on some of the community ed happenings. Pause report for summer camp pause. We have 75 students. And so we're about halfway through the summer. And just a few things that highlights they've had so far this year. They've been to Arrowwood Water Park, Elm Creek Park Reserve, the man-made lake there, YMCA Wilmer, Rocks baseball game, 16U baseball game, Hemker Zoo, Amazing Farmyard, movies in the auditorium, going to Dorothy Olson Water Park tomorrow, and weekly trips to the food shelf, garden, and Washburn Court. So, not bad for half the year, right, so far. So they're busy down there. We got fantastic staff there. They're doing a good job, and it's good to see the kids so active. Many new programs this summer. Most of our ball programs will be finishing up tomorrow night. And it looks like it's going to be good weather, so we can finish up with that. We're going to try to make up last Thursday's concert that we canceled, our final concert in the park, this Thursday, but that's not looking real great right now, but we'll see how that comes out with the weather. Fitness Center, we ended the fiscal year strong with just about 23,000 visits and over 75,000 in revenue. Excited that a new versatile recumbent, full body recumbent bike just came in today, so we'll be getting that set up tomorrow for our members. We're constantly reinvesting back into our facility, our programs with that revenue. And we're actively in full planning mode for fall, so any ideas that you have for programs or activities or classes, please let us know. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Activities Director and Dean of Students, Max Maher.
Forgot how to get these chairs, that's right. I thought since I was down here, we could go over the student handbook, activities handbook, if you guys had any questions or if you just want me to highlight the changes on there first, and then there's a couple other things that are going on. Does anybody have any questions? I guess I would just say these changes just come from just evaluating and looking at it. There has been no issues that warranted the changes. Some of it is just reading, thinking how we process and do things, and maybe trying to stay ahead of potentially what would be issues. So I can do one of two things. Either I can just go through the recommended changes with you, or we could read the whole thing word for word.
No, thank
You
you.
can just tell us the changes.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically on page 3 of the handbook, you'll see a change of labeling the level of 9th grade to become C team. Part of that is just as things change, numbers change. Sometimes maybe a 10th grade student athlete will come out for a sport for the first time as a 10th grader, and they're not in a position where they could safely participate in a team at the JV level or something like that. Obviously, anytime where those types of situations happen, conversations had, and the students allowed the opportunity to stay where they're at, but it just gives them an opportunity where they could safely compete rather than be on a team, but they can't participate because of safety or something like that. It's typical other schools, it hasn't happened a lot to us, but where they may not have 3 levels, so they'll actually just have they'll request that they'll play our C team, if you will, because they don't want to play our JV. They'll only have 2 levels, and that's the level where their kids are at. So any questions on that change? The next one was fees. A line item change to basically it reads that a student may make other arrangements with the activities director at administrative discretion. Previously, it was they were allowed to work off their fees, which we still would work with the student and allow them to do that type of thing. But the way that it was worded basically said if they would have chose to, they could have said, hey, I don't want to pay my fee, I want to sweep the floors instead, or something. That we haven't had an issue, but that's what it said, right? So that's why questions on that. Then on page 4, just change the wording. It said something to the effect that all medical forms are available at the clinics for kids who need physicals. I don't know if they're down there, so they're all available online. Most of the chiropractors or clinics that do them do keep the forms on file, but I'm not going to say that they're there for sure if we don't know that they're there. So just change to online. Questions on that? And then the next one would be an adjustment from if somebody has a ineligibility due to a chemical violation of state high school league. Previously, it said that they would meet with a chemical counselor for 2 weeks. Well, that, even though it's defined as 2 weeks, that's pretty nondescript. What does that mean? Do they meet once a day for 2 weeks? Do they meet every other day for 2 weeks? They're going to meet, and the chemicals counselor will make an assessment and communicate with the parents on what they feel like. That might be once, it might be 20 times, but the 2 weeks was defined, but it was really ambiguous. So questions on that? And then the last change on the last page, when we approved this last year, we were in between hiring of the person that is the 504 coordinator for our district. So it was just TBD, and now Kristen Zimmer is here, and so that's why the change is there. Does anybody have any other questions on the student activities handbook? Okay, so I got back into an office, which is a new office to me, but just this past week, it's amazing how much you can get done when you're back working in an office by yourself, when you're used to working in an office by yourself instead of with 4 people. Which is just in time because we're a month away from fall sports starting, and so we really have to get things done, get ready. We've had a fantastic summer as far as our summer strength and conditioning program and the partnership that we've done with Day One Sports. They're in a couple other schools, and they're workers that are here that some of them stay only in Paynesville, some of them travel around, and they're super impressed with our kids, the work ethic that they have, and the continued attendance is higher than what they're seeing other places, so we're excited about that. Summer's going super fast. Once July 4th is over for me, summer's over, so I don't know if anybody has any other questions.
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Max. Buildings and Grounds, Donnie Meyer.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, my problem here is contractors are notorious for overbooking, so I have a heck of a time getting my projects done. They're hopefully going to set the new air handler this week yet, so they say, over the office. The tile work is half done in the office. The major offices like Cassandra, Amy, and entranceway, that's all done. But we're still waiting for the old air handler to be pulled out so we can tile the rest of that area. My biggest headache lately has been keeping the chiller running at the auditorium. We've had Yule out for 2 days, 2 different days already, working on this, and this morning it quit again. So I called the main contractor, and he is looking into this, probably going to send somebody else out. The athletic garage is re-roofed, the land trans windows are in, 90% of the classrooms are waxed. There were starting hallways now. Weed spraying was done last week. That was another issue. It was supposed to be a spring spray. Well, with all the rain and stuff, they got behind too. The roofing is going well. The media center should be about 90% done this week, and then they hope to move to the middle school gym. Get that. Other than that, everything is pretty.
Bathrooms in the elementary school finished?
In the elementary school?
Yeah.
No, they are not. We're waiting for the tiler to come and tile behind the urinals. Then they can put the urinals in, and then it'll be the electricians to hook up the sinks yet. And we gotta put partitions in, but that doesn't take long. But it's looking better. Other than that, I think, for the most part, it's going okay. If we could just get the office done.
All in due time, right?
Right.
The actual construction in the office, the high school office is done, though. The walls are out and
Correct, yeah, the walls are out there finished, the tiling in that part is done. Then they have still the door system has to be put in yet, waiting for them. other than that, yeah. Pretty close,
Mhm.
hopefully. Any questions?
Nope. Thanks, Donnie.
Thanks,
You
Donnie.
gonna be around afterwards so we can see the office?
What's that?
Will you be around afterwards so we
Yeah.
can go in there?
All right, any committee reports? Okay, you can give it to it. You can do it right now.
We had West Central Ed met last night in Melrose, and it was a very short meeting, so this will be a very short comment. The director talked about the status of the STAR program, and they're still looking for 3 openings. And if not being filled by start of school, they can still carry on without those people. And they discussed moving the beacon. They'll discuss that at every meeting, moving beacon to ALC in Melrose. And that's an ongoing project, hopefully in the fall of 2019. And the new business manager was supposed to start July 1, and they changed it to August 1. Somebody got married, so they had to schedule there. And that was about it. It was a very short meeting. Any questions?
So are they moving the beacon?
They've been moving it for 2 years now. And it will be done the 19th. 2019.
Good. Anybody else had any committee meetings? No? Okay. We're going to move on to old business, district goals.
If I could just,
Matt,
if I could just
you
speak
want-
briefly
Yeah.
about that. So Paynesville obviously has a strategic plan in place. I believe there's 8 district goals that are part of it. One of the things that I think is important is that the Board of Education should interact with those goals every month. If they were important enough to be identified as goals, I think we should be giving them some attention each month. And obviously, what gets paid attention to is what gets done. So what I will be doing is just creating a spreadsheet that the admin team can use to be able to update the board as far as progress on district goals. And we will be reviewing that at least once a month, depending on what happens and what issues come up. You may review it twice a month, but for sure, once a month, that's something that will be in front of the board. If it's okay with the board, I would like it just to be a standing item in old business. And usually it's a 5 or 7 minute update unless there are issues that require direct attention. So, questions at all with the district goals?
That's a very good idea,
Okay. Isn't it?
from my perspective.
Yep. Yep, then we never lose track of what we're supposed to be doing and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, and we all talked about it when we did it, that these go on the back shelf and then they stay there until somebody has this great idea to do another one. And
Or
it
they-
doesn't make any sense. It's more like you trying to make this active and a moving document. That's what this needs to be.
All right. New business. On, you know, it's broken down into 8 different areas. Are they all one single?
So as a board, you have an option here. There are reorganization activities that need to be done now. As a board, you can go through these 8, and you could approve all 8 of the reorganization activities as one.
Okay.
If there's a reorganization activity that you want to just address that individually and discuss that and make changes to it, you can certainly do that. So you have discretion on how you want to approach these. If we want to go through, and Mark, if you want to take a look at each one, if there's any conversation with that one, at the end, can decide if we put all 8 in one motion, or if you want to do any that you're going to stand alone and do on their own.
Okay. All right. So for the reorganization activities, we have the official newspaper. And in your packet, you got that, the breakdown of where, you know, we use Paynesville Press as our official newspaper. Authorization of the bills. We have designated different people to be able to pay out of petty cash and stuff like that. So those people are identified there. Census takers. It was recommended by the superintendent to have Matt Dickhausen, Katie Fleischecker, and Linda Meyer to do the census taker. The hearing officers for the hot lunches would be the superintendent and the board chair. The school banks would be identified there as, the ones that we've used in the past. Oh, what is it? Do we have an addition to?
Yep, so the school bank, we just need to add PMA Financial Network to it. So there should be 4 institutions that you would be identifying as depositories for Paynesville area schools' money.
Yep. So then we have the commencement date as written there of June 2nd at 2 p.m. We have fees and then MSBA. And that's a cost of, is that very close to what we paid last year for the MSBA membership?
Yeah, it went up, $125,
Okay.
I want to say.
So those are the 8 items that are underneath reorganizational activities. Does anybody have any questions about them?
Yeah, do you want us to do questions? If we're going to vote, are we voting on them all at the same time?
Well,
And I
I guess
wondered if we should have a motion and a second, do questions after that, or do you want them beforehand?
I want them before, so that we can see if we want to pull one of
Explain
them.
the census takers to me.
Sure, and this is new, in my understanding, I couldn't find any record of census takers ever identified here. So every school district has an obligation to keep a census entity, and we have a wonderful census entity. The district should be identifying who it is are the people that are responsible for keeping that data accurate or as accurate as we can. Matt Dickhausen in Community Ed has been operating that, and he has an exceptional organization of that data and census information. So as far as doing anything differently than what the district has been doing, there's not going to be a single change. Nobody's going to notice anything different. It's just, we're just going through the formality of saying that these 3 individuals will be the ones who we will say are responsible for our census information.
Will it make it better someday for us knowing how many kids may be coming into kindergarten?
Well, census information is it's a fickle topic. When you start talking about your census information and what your 4-year-old population is, I think you can get pretty good data to make quality decisions with. If you want to start talking about census data and trying to use it when you're talking about 1-year-olds and, be forecasting out 3, 4, 5 years, I think that's a game. I don't know that there's really anyone who's perfected the art of figuring out what we're going to do with that census information. So right now, we're getting a record of all the births from the county and stuff, and we're doing everything we can to really have quality census information. It's just the board needs to realize 4-year-old information, generally pretty good stuff. 1 and 2-year-old, it's harder. So that probably doesn't answer your question.
No, it doesn't take care of it. It's not a solution, but it seems like a struggle when we don't know how many people are coming into there, whether you're going to have this many classes or this many classes, and how you have to manage your instructors. And that one, you have about 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yep.
Where the rest of it, you got some time.
And we're not the only ones in this boat.
No, but we have to be better than everybody else. That's all I say.
At least we need to strive to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So Matt, it's on you.
And
Enrollment on math?
Yeah, exactly.
on the fees.
Yeah.
So scroll down to the fees, there's some yellowed items in the fees.
Thank you. The yellow items are the only items that are changing. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. There was a change last winter or spring as far as the insurance plan with the tech insurance. It is voluntary, and the model was, I believe, charging $50 for insurance. The plan now is to collect $60 when they are 6th graders, and that would cover grades 6, 7, and 8, and then collect $80 when they're 9th graders, and that would cover grades 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The only question that has been posed to me is, well, what happens if you come to the district as an 8th grader? I guess what I would advocate for is we're going to prorate that fee. We're not going to charge you $60 for your 8th grade year and then turn around and charge you again for your 9th through 12th grade year.
So it's one fee for those, that number of years.
Correct.
So in essence, the true fee
Is
for the kids has
$20.
gone down.
Dramatically.
Dramatically, yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes.
what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Originally, it was
We want to make
$50
this,
per year.
It was $50 per year when it was initially rolled out, and now it's going to essentially be $20 per year,
okay.
is what it's going to be.
It doesn't do any good to switch. If we made it so expensive, the parents can't get their kids involved.
Correct. The other fees, the hot lunch, the lunch prices, we do need to increase 10 cents for the lunch prices. That is something that we must do. The adult meal price is something that hasn't been released yet, so that one might come back to the board in August when that comes out. But that's the other fee that is on there that would be changing. Otherwise, the rest of the fees are all the same as they were in 17-18.
Anybody else have anything else in there? If not, I think we got it pretty well clear, so I think we can just make one motion for the entire 1 through 8. Well, yeah, I did. Does anybody have any questions about the MSBA? That's the membership that went up $100.
Yep, and I think in talking with everybody, you see value in MSBA and especially the winter conference. It's an invaluable resource, whether we're doing policy work, there's a lot of things that MSBA is a good sounding board that prevent us from having to incur attorney fees. They are just an absolute resource. I actually couldn't imagine moving
Not being-
forward without being a member of MSBA with what they provide.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
All right, I got a motion from Rick,
I'll second.
second from Cheryl. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. B, extracurricular activity handbook. I think that's just what Max went through. So we can probably go ahead and entertain a motion for that, unless if somebody has any other questions or concerns or
I'll make
comments.
that motion.
So I got a motion from Bruce,
Second.
second from Lou. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. C, designate individual with authority.
I can give you a little background on this. So MDE has their public site, and then they have a secure site that is the data port for all school districts across the state. Each school district or charter school is asked to identify an individual who would have the ability to assign other people from that organization certain rights. I have some reports that need to be sent in to clean up or to finish off the 17-18 school year by July 31st. Right now, I have no access to anything that's associated to Paynesville area schools because I'm not granted any authority at this point. So what I'm asking you to do is designate the superintendent to be the person who you would say is responsible for that secure site. From there, then, I can make sure if we have changes in personnel or if there are additional mandated reporting things that the MDE rolls out, I can assign certain staff members those rights. But that's what's going on right now is I just need to be able to submit data that MDE is looking for to close out last year.
I make a motion that we authorize the superintendent for this access.
Second. So I got a motion from Bruce and a second from Rick. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. D, the CEO program information.
I can take that one too, Mark. So CEO stands for Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities. Say that 5 times fast. It is a program that is available to students. There are some school districts in the state right now that are participating. I believe, and one of the very first programs started with a partnership of Wilmer, Newland, and Spicer and ACGC. This is a program that I would like to be able to explore. And one of the things that I'm looking for is just the ability or the board to give me a head nod to say, yep, you know what, go ahead and go down that road. You're not approving anything, you're not spending any cash, you're not doing anything. The only thing is, it just gives me the green light to get out there and start looking for partners. I do have a short, about 90-second clip if you want to see exactly what the CEO program is about. Do you guys want to sit over there so you can watch the screen a little easier? Yeah, it's Midland Institute. I want to say it's Indiana. It's Indiana, Illinois. What this individual is going to talk about, he's a graduate or a high school graduate who actually went through this program, started his own small business. He talks about the model that Midland Institute is out there promoting. The nice thing about it is the model that we would pursue is the model that works for us. So if there are things in here that you kind of say, oh, well, I don't know if we're in for, you know, that component of it, that doesn't have to be what our model looks like. So, see if I can get this to work right.
Hi, I'm Nick Smith. I'm a business owner and a graduate of the CEO program. CEO is an entrepreneurship program for high school students where everything is real. Real experience, real businesses, real skills. We believe that entrepreneurship is so much more than business knowledge. It's the way you think and view the world. CEO is funded entirely by business investors and always meets in a business, never in a school. CEO students meet for 90 minutes every day for a school year. Students visit dozens of area businesses and interact with more than 50 guest speakers. They cooperate on a class business, and every student starts a real, viable business of their own. CEO is a transformational educational experience. It showed me how to be excited about learning. CEO isn't about what do I have to do to get through this. It's about discovering and exploring, and it's about I want to know and I need to know. In CEO, we don't just talk about the essential life skills that are so important for success. We use them every day. We don't do units and quizzes on business concepts. We use them every day. CEO is also an economic development tool. I saw incredible businesses while I was in the class, and I have a network of contacts that will help me be successful. My business, Framework Photography, is a great example. It's in my hometown because that's where I want to be. This program changed my life as a person and a business owner because that's what CEO is, and that's what CEO does.
That's it. The thing about this, and there'll be time for some questions if you have any, but I think the thing about this, and Randy and Bruce have both kind of heard me talk a little bit about this with the CTE group too, is this is at the crux of what has to happen. And this idea of, you know, there's populations of students that have learned how to do school. And what we've sacrificed by creating that population is that curiosity, that creativity, problem solving, outside the box thinking. And so this is just one example of something that I think would be a wonderful opportunity. I think what I would like to do is be able to talk with our CTE work group about an opportunity like this to see kind of what their reaction is. As far as how this is funded and what it looks like, I think there's a lot of models that we can explore. I don't know that it has to be the model that Midland Institute prescribes, but the other thing is I also have to be able to find some other school districts that are willing to partner with us. Realistically, what's kind of the standard right now is it usually takes 3 school districts to come together to be able to pull off a real viable program that's sustainable year in and year out. So this is infancy stages with this. All I'm wondering or looking is just a head nod from the board to keep working on it. And then if you guys have any questions for me regarding it, I don't know that I will know the answers, but I can find answers.
I think it's excellent. Years ago, I was in the distributive education part here with Wally Erickson, and I was an advisor. And we had the kids doing this. We had a program here in our school where the kids actually did a business on the computer. Well, I also was involved in my business at that time with a large company on the East Coast that paid $5,000 per employee to take exactly what we were offering for free to our kids, to take a business, they were in part of a company, and not knowing what they could spend on advertising, all that, and make it work. The only request I'd have is that we write it out, not abbreviate it. Nowadays with copy and paste, this computer thing, it wouldn't take any more to write it out, because that's, I think, what everybody's asking us for, is that entrepreneurial follows the CTEs. Everybody that we head into the CTEs can use something like this. I think it's great. Good idea.
Any others? Okay, I see head nods.
Yep.
So I'm going to take head nods as, I'm going to keep working on it. I'll bring it back. Probably something you guys would expect to see again towards the end of August or second meeting in August. I'll give you an update, and then hopefully we can find some partners, and then we can get down to the kind of the nuts and bolts and really talk about how is this going to be sustainable and how are we going to approach it. Okay, thank you.
Good. Perfect. Scheduling upcoming meeting, Transportation Committee.
Okay, the meeting that's in there is not going to work. Originally, we were going to meet at the end of this week. That is not something that is going to happen. I do have a date that Paynesville Motor and Transport was hoping to meet on Wednesday, August 1st. So what do we got? Bruce and Lou and Mark? Is that, we were hoping Wednesday, August 1st at 1, or at 8 a.m., right away, first thing in the morning.
Works with me.
Yep.
Lou's a good?
Yep, it's
Bruce?
good at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
let's
good.
see.
Huh? Wednesday morning.
I'm gonna be going.
What?
I'm gonna be in Wyoming.
What the heck are you doing there? You can't be.
Rodeo.
with us.
I'm going to a rodeo.
A rodeo? You're gonna go ride horses?
road here, you don't have to go to one.
Well, if you're at 8 a.m., you can make it back in time for the rodeo.
Well, yeah, and then I can go back again for the
Yeah.
second round.
When are you heading out of town, Lou?
The I don't have it, 27th. No, I won't be back.
When will you be back?
Oh, wait a minute, Wednesday.
When are you gonna be back?
I don't know, we never scheduled that far ahead. Okay, Wednesday.
He just knows he's
Give me a
getting out
second.
there.
Hey, are you retired?
It's also
Yeah.
tired.
August 1st is Wednesday, and we're leaving.
You said the 26th.
Yeah, I think I can make it back.
Would you feel more comfortable if I looked at Tuesday the 2nd? Or Thursday the 2nd, not Tuesday, Thursday the 2nd, I'm sorry.
I would, but if it works for everybody else, this date, okay, otherwise, yeah, that would give me one more day, but I mean, I don't know, I just,
Mark and Bruce, is Thursday, 8 a.m., is that doable?
The second?
The 2nd of August?
Yep, so far.
Okay.
that's what I said, and then I ended up.
I actually got something on my schedule, but I don't always know what it is. Sometimes the company implants things, but I think that would work.
Okay, let's tentatively shoot for August 2nd, 8 a.m.
Good, appreciate it, thanks.
That's what we will post, and I will confirm that first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right, so that's everything we got on the agenda for tonight, so.
Make a move to adjourn.
All right, we got a motion from Lou. Second. Second from Randy. Any other further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried.